Hi, this is Movie Crank, and today we're going to talk about Yellowstone Season 5B, Episode 14. So this is it, the final episode of Yellowstone. There's a mountain of expectations, but can it hold up and find a fitting end to the series? Yes and no, and I'll get to that after a short recap of this episode. The Broken Rock tribe destroys the building site for the pipeline. Casey sells the ranch to Chief Rainwater and his people. Back at the ranch, the Wranglers pack up to leave for the different destinations and attend the funeral for John Dutton. Jamie gives a speech distancing himself from Sarah Atwood and promises the people of Montana to right all the wrongs as governor. And Beth goes after Jamie. The ranch gets taken over by the Broken Rock tribe, and in different spots in Montana, Casey and Beth start new ranches with their families. The episode starts off with the tribe dismantling the construction site for the pipeline planned to cross through the Broken Rock reservation. The tribe wants to expose this construction and cause an outrage in their favor. They're smart to do it this way. Sure, Yellowstone normally criticizes the way politics is handled by raw emotions, and mostly on social media, but in this case, it's hard to find another way to achieve justice. Meanwhile, the Wranglers at the ranch prepare to leave their old workplace behind and go on their different paths. Teeter asks Travis for a job, who's a douche as always, but he takes her up on the offer anyways. The rest join some outfits in the area or Texas. Only Lloyd and Ryan hang up the hat. Well, that sucks. Lloyd seems to be genuinely disappointed that Rip gave up rebuilding the ranch. I don't know why it was dropped, and it would have been an interesting new take to see Rip and Lloyd as cowboy veterans try to restart the ranch from scratch. But I guess it would also be difficult to share the land with the tribe once they own it fully. Beth gives a last-minute pitch to Rip for a ranch she bought in Dillon, Montana. She bought the property and wishes to move there after the funeral. Well, that's mean of Beth. Just getting the ranch without a heads up to Rip. Of course it's a funny moment in the show, but when you think of it further, Rip didn't have any say in this, and it's about time they start acting like partners. Well, anyways. Now we switch to the east camp of the ranch, where Casey and Monica welcome Chief Rainwater and Mo brings Plenty for a meeting. Casey makes the chief a symbolic offer to sell the ranch to him for $1.25 per acre. The same price the settlers were offered for new land by the US government after they took it from the natives. Rainwater accepts, and in good faith, him and Casey become blood brothers and make a deal in sacred ritual. Looking at the odds and how the world works these days, it was the only way to preserve the land. Now the Broken Rock will still have to fight corporations for it, because the reservation is also threatened to be industrialized. But they have more means to do it than the Duttons ever had. Also, it's interesting to see the customs and traditions of the American Indians in the show. I wish they would continue to dive deeper into the tribe's dealings and Mo and Thomas' storylines with a spin-off. But I guess that's all up to the fans and what they want, so I guess we'll see. At the ranch, John Dutton is finally laid to rest. As a last request to the Wranglers, Rip asks them to dig up the grave and come back and attend in funeral attire. Also there to pay respects are old friend and ally Senator Linnell Perry, Chief Rainwater, Mo brings Plenty, Casey and his family, and of course Rip, Beth, and Carter. Everybody says their goodbye and shares a last personal moment with John, and with a heavy heart, only Beth keeps her distance, but when it's her turn, swears to avenge her father. So she drives off with her car, without a notice, and leaves everyone baffled as to where she's headed. So all the theories were wrong. And I myself feel also a little silly to wait for John to come out of the shower back from the dead. Still, they give him an honorable ending and some heartfelt moments with the cast. Minus the devil's son Jamie, of course. Have to cut Taylor some slack though. Costner is still dearly missed, but he managed to ride around him quite well. This funeral felt right. Over in Helena, Jamie gives a speech in front of the press about his father's political ideas and how he was the voice of the Montanans brutally taken away from them. He distances himself from Sarah Atwood and assures the people that he will assume his father's politics once he becomes governor, with success. Like I said last preview, I have a hard time believing that people buy into Jamie's crap, but as it turns out later, they don't have to anymore. But it wouldn't be Yellowstone if things didn't go sideways one more time. Beth is off to confront Jamie. A concerned Rip calls her to stop, but she won't listen. Fortunately, Rip knows where she is headed, so Beth confronts Jamie and they beat the shit out of each other. Realistically, Jamie takes the upper hand and reveals his literal ugly face to Beth. As it turns out, he wanted to turn the ranch into profit, and he doesn't care about its survival at all. As he's about to enter, Rip sweeps in and makes Jamie a ragdoll. Beth kills Jamie, and in an act of gamble and pure smarts, they bring Jamie to the train station and leave Beth behind to call the cops. I guess we all saw this coming. There was no saving Jamie from the moment he signed off on killing Beth and his own father. Personally, I wanted to see Jamie redeemed, but just like in real life, people can crack, and victims can become aggressors. So in the end, he got what he deserved, and John is avenged. Following up, the cops arrive at Jamie's house, interviewing a heavily injured Beth. She tells the cops that Jamie beat her up after she confronted him for not showing up at her father's funeral. Somehow they believe her blindly and all is settled. Meanwhile, Rip and Lloyd dump Jamie at the train station and burn his car after. Well, if that ain't convenient. Good thing those cops already had it out for Jamie, so they believe Beth without no doubt. I think it's hard to believe though that neighbors won't find it suspicious when a monster of a heavy-duty truck comes roaring through the streets and a burly guy storms into the acting attorney general's house. I wish they could have done this a little more believable, but I guess you just gotta do it like Jamie's neighbors and just not give a damn. So in the aftermath, Casey buys new cattle with Tate and herds them together with Monica at the East Camp. A bit farther away, but still in the same state, Rip rides out horseback with Beth on their new ranch in Dillon. The series ends with Chief Brainwater taking over the Yellowstone, with his tribe deconstructing the buildings to convert it back into the state it was 200 years ago. The narration kicks in and we hear Elsa from 1883 leading out of the series. I'm glad, even though John had to die, that Chief Rainwater got the land in the end. He was the only part next to John who honors the ground and won't turn it into a soulless resort. Also, the tribe is the rightful owner, and just like I said in episode 9's review, the prophecy was fulfilled, and the natives took the land back after 7 generations. But now the question is the episode any good? Well, it isn't peak Yellowstone. The scenes had all the feelings, and we gotta say goodbye, but it all feels very crammed and rushed in this episode. I feel like 2 episodes more would have given the story more space to breathe, and give the characters more time to lead out of the series. There are also some big plot holes, which are not unusual for Yellowstone, but this time the focus is higher, since there is a battle going on between Sheridan and Costner, who can succeed without the other. Especially the killing of Jamie was very hard to believe. A roaring heavy-duty truck and a luxury sports car pulling up to the Attorney General house should have raised some suspicion. Also, I doubt Jamie's body has been found yet, and there's definitely going to be an investigation where he took off to. Despite that, it has its charms, and I feel it's a good ending to a great series, and just like Beth said, it's a story worth to remember. So in that spirit, there's news that Cole Hauser and Kelly Riley are in talks for a spin-off about the future of Rip and Beth. So together with 1923 and a 4/6 spin-off, there should be enough Yellowstone in the time ahead to keep us entertained.
Tell me, when will it be enough for you?
It will never be enough!
When there's new episodes dropping, I'll make sure to cover them and look forward to all you fine people tuning in. Thank you for staying this long till the end of this video. If you liked it, please leave a like, subscribe to my channel and hit that bell icon so you'll know when I crank out another video. Stay tuned and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.